2 weeks ago. So we're gonna do a little hazara. Arya, just put them on the tables, maybe, yeah? Maybe put them on the tables. What do you think? Yeah, just put randomly 1, 2 on every table or whatever. Okay. Gemara Baba Kama. Yaakov, it's a good place. It's a new place. It's good. No, the city. Hold on. Nobody else is watching? Okay. All right, we're starting. Page 1. We're going to review the Gemara that we started 2 weeks ago. Yeah, everyone is different. By the way, they're all different, so you don't know what you're getting. So put them in the middle? All right. No, how come nobody's eating? What's up? What's going on with you? There's 4 different styles, so maybe show them. Give it to these guys. Has v'shalom, has v'shalom. Par. Tabisari? Tabisari? Lil Hamishi? Lil Hamishi? Huh? Take whatever. Which one is it? Thursday night? Toda. Okay. Eid. The Hadash. No. No. Calm. Yeah. You need to take this. Take this over there. Okay, we ready? No. Joey, my favorite one is the orange one. Could you get the orange one for me? Thanks. Moshe, what's the verdict? It says some Israeli guy. He opened up a really good place. I don't know where it is. I never go physically to the place. My son's at. Yeah. If there's a box of it that's not touched, you can just bring the whole box. And you? No. Are you set, Ezra? There was a part one? No. There was a part one? Okay, here we go. The Gemara Baba Kama, the Mishnah Baba Kama, page 113 says as follows. If you remember, if you were here 2 weeks ago, it's a little review, but we're going to add more stuff to it that we didn't say last 2 weeks ago. The Gemara says, Mishnah, En poretin lo metebat muchasin v'lo mekisho gabayin ve'en notrim mehem tzedakah abanotel hu mitok beto o min hashuk. Says the Mishnah, you are not allowed to get change from a tax collector. A tax collector's money is presumed to be stolen. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Last week we did Lag B'Omer. A tax collector's money, the kupa of the tax collector, is presumed to be stolen, and therefore you're not allowed to make change with this guy because it's benefiting from gezel. So tax, right away the Mishnah says tax is gezel. Right away. And the Gemara is going to talk about it a little more. We're starting with this. That's what the Mishnah says. Tax, change is a benefit. It helps you. Right? You have a $100 bill, and the 7-Eleven won't accept it. You want a drink. So it's a benefit to get the change. So en poretin lo metebat muchasin v'lo mekish gabayin. You're not allowed to. Mishnah on page 1. It's this. Right now it's either, and the Gemara will talk. We're going to open it up. It's the first page. It says page 2, and the page 1 is the cover. En poretin lo metebat muchasin. She says, look at Rashi, it's in red. See Rashi on the right side, Moshe. Halif sela'im bepilotot. You want to do change. I want to change my selah for some pilotot. Miyad muchasim from tax classes, litol pilotot metebatan. Shenotnim b'ma'ot hameches. V'chen mekisho gabei hameches, shegobe kesef gulgolet ve'anona lefi she'en shel gezer. All the tax money. Who doesn't feel tax money is theft? Everyone, right? Tax is the biggest form of theft. So now let's fast forward to the Gemara. The Gemara says, Tana, Abanoten lo dinar, v'noten lo et hashe'at. If you're paying your tax, and you're allowed to take change, that's not called benefiting from gezer. So if you're paying your tax, you only have a dinar, yeah, you can get your hatzi dinar back. Umuchasin v'ha'amar Shemuel, says the Gemara, doesn't Shemuel say dinar, the machutat dinar? The law of the land is a law of the land, which is recognized by the Torah. And so if there's something called a tax, that's it. It's the law of the land. It's the law of the Torah. Who says it's gezel? Says Shemuel. Amar Rab Hanina bar Kahana Amar Shemuel. The answer is b'moches she'en lo kitzba. We're talking about a tax collector that doesn't have a quota. There's no set guidelines like the IRS. It's just the king makes some guy the tax collector, and he says, "You 10,000 for you, 8,000 for you, whatever he wants," like they used to have. Moches she'en lo kitzba is gezel. It's gezel. That's dinar d'milchuta has ramifications. It can't just be gezel, right? It has to be a law that dinar d'milchuta doesn't mean I can go kill people. Oh, dinar d'milchuta, like, and the Rambam will talk about it a little bit more, but this will override dinar d'milchuta dinar. Robin Hood stealing from other people to pay. That's not dinar d'milchuta dinar. Rabbi Yanai's yeshiva says b'moches ha'omed me'elav. A tax collector that comes round two. He already did the king's tax, and he's like, "Oh, round two." The tax collector used to hate these guys. They come to your farm and tax you for at their whim. And then we said 2 weeks ago the following: the Mishnah says you're not allowed to wear kilayim, sha'anez, wool and linen. What if I want to wear 10 jackets and the 11th one will be wool and linen? No, you cannot wear sha'anez even on top of 10. What if the tax collector, let's call him the customs collector or the tariff collector, he's coming to check my imports, and everything he sees, all the goods he sees, he's going to give me assess a tariff. So what do I want to do? I'm selling suits. I want to put on jackets. I can wear like 15 suit jackets. And when he comes to my thing, no, this is not goods. This is my clothes. I want to cheat out of the taxes. Says the Mishnah, you cannot put sha'aniz to do such a thing. Just because you want to evade taxes doesn't give you a license to wear sha'aniz.
Well, the guy selling jackets, he shouldn't count sha'aniz for sale.
Maybe he's selling to a goy. That's a good question. Maybe the people will take it out. It's a good question. But that's his business. Our brethren have been known to dabble in all sorts of businesses. What's the obvious question? Oh, you can't wear sha'aniz to evade taxes. But if you're polyester, then you can do it. If it's polyester, no problem. If it's cotton, it's no problem. You're avoiding taxes. What are you talking about? So the Gemara says, Rabbi Akiva says, "Asur le'avrich le'mechas." Rabbi Shimon Omer b'shum Akiva, mutar le'avrich le'mechas. It's a machloket. Bishlam al kilayim. I understand regarding kilayim. It's not your intention to wear the clothing. Your intention is just to evade the taxes. So one will hold it's allowed, one will hold it's not allowed. But Rabbi Akiva says you're not allowed. If you want to get out of taxes, Shaarey, are you allowed to? The law of the land is the law of the land. The same two answers we just had before. One, no, a normal tax collector that has a IRS guideline, a normal customs that says, 124% for China, whatever it is, a normal guy like this, you're not allowed to evade them, says the Gemara. But if it's a guy that's like heke, or in a country that's wishy-washy, then you can evade. And I'm going to skip to a little faster because we did this 2 weeks ago. There's another Mishnah that we said. This was an amazing Mishnah. Nodrin leharagin or laharamin or lemukhasin. Sheisha tiruma sheisha bet melech. Alpha pisha enasha tiruma alpha pisha enasha bet melech. What's going on here? The mafia comes. The mafia comes to your house and says, I want you to give me 10% of everything you have, all your fruit, 10% of all your sheep. And so what do you tell the mafia guy? No. Those are the fruits I have. What about the fruit in this room? No, this fruit's tiruma. No, I can't eat it, or you can't eat it. That's going to the Kohen. Come on, tax me. Don't take that from me. The Hedagim, murderers, thieves. You know it's not Tiruma. You're lying through your teeth. But you want to get your way out of this guy's going to steal your stuff. So the Mishnah says, Nodrin Hedagim. The guy says to you, make a neder. I want you to make a neder. Swear to me, it's Tiruma. Are you allowed to make the neder? Yes. Even though you're lying. You're allowed to make a neder. And you're also allowed to swear and make a vow. The guy says to you, oh, those apples, they belong to Tiruma. You can't eat them? Yeah, okay. I will believe you on one condition. You make a neder that if you're lying, you'll never eat an apple in your life. So if you're lying, you can't eat apples anyway. So you may as well give them to him. You're allowed to make a neder, even though you plan, the second the guy leaves, I want to eat the apples. Why? Because you're saving yourself from the heragim. Same question. No, we're talking about the same thing. And Moches Ha'amed Me'elav. Rabbi Shia Amad b'Moches Kena'ani. Rabbi Shia Amad, remember we did a Tosafot on this? Tosafot says, I think, even we're talking about if you have in mind that the neder is not hal, it's going to be a loophole. Rabbi Shia says, Moches Kena'ani. We're talking about the tax collector is not Jewish. This is what Yaakov was asking. The tax collector is not Jewish, so he's crooked. However, if you look at Rashi, as long as there's no Hilul Hashem, you can steal from him. It's a very important Rashi. The tax collector, he doesn't know that you're lying to him. And so if there's no Hilul Hashem, no problem, as Rashi says. Titania, like we said, this was another crazy one. Remember the court one? This was a crazy one. Hold on to your hats if you weren't here 2 weeks ago. Israel Kanaani Anas. Israel, a Jewish, and a Kanaani Anas, a thieving scoundrel goy. Ba'u ledin, come to Bet Din. What should the rabbi do? If you can use Jewish law and make the Yehudi win, zakeu, use the Jewish law and make the Yehudi win. Ve'omer lo, and you tell the goy, kach dinenu, what do you want us to do? This is our Torah. I got to go by the Jewish law. If I can make the Yehudi win by using secular law, but not by Jewish law, that's your law. Zakil, make him win. Ve'omer lo, and tell him, kach dinechem. What do you know? This is you. I'm going by your law. You can't complain. It's unbelievable. You could violate it just to make the guy win. Yeah, it's asur. It's asur al chaot shegoyim. Unless you say it's asur. Unless you say it's inside Bet Din. You're obed. You're lying also. You have to. It's anas. We're talking about a guy that's anas. He's a criminal. This guy. V'im lav ba'in alav be'akifin. And if you can't make him win in this way, or make him in this one, ba'in lav be'akifin. Come to him with akifin. Look at Rashi. Rashi says, bottom Rashi, be'chokhmah, some sort of smart, clever tactic. Whatever it takes to make the Yehudi win. These are all the words of Rabbi Ishmael. Rabbi Akiva Omer, en ba'in alav be'akifin. You cannot cheat around this guy. Kiddush Hashem, because you must make a Kiddush Hashem. Rabbi Akiva, Ta'amadi Kiddush Hashem, halak Kiddush Hashem ba'in. Rabbi Akiva, you only can't do it because Kiddush Hashem. What if I have a case that will never be a Hilul Hashem? That means he has no clue. I can cheat him out so easy, he'll never know. It would be allowed, again, from Rabbi Akiva, smashma, that it will be allowed. V'geza Kena'ani mishari. Geza Kena'ani is allowed. When Rabbi Akiva came from the town of Zephirin, he said the following. Bottom line of the Gemara. How do you know Geza Kena'ani is not allowed? If you have a Jewish person who's sold as an Eved to a non-Jew, there's a mitzvah to redeem him on all his relatives, right? Or Dodo, or Ben Dodo Igaleno, or Mishi'ad Besarot. Whoever can redeem him. You have a Jewish guy, he's a slave for a non-Jew, it's a mitzvah to redeem her. Says the Pasuk, that means you cannot just kidnap the guy. You must pay for him. You can't just free him, break out of jail. Yachol yiglom alav. As we remember these, yiglom, Rashi versus Safot. Yachol yiglom alav, look at Rashi, it's in red. Yachol yaniach et haKenani lichbol. Maybe you should have let yourself get ripped off by the goy. It's a mitzvah from Torah to redeem my brother. The guy's charging me 5 times what he paid. He paid 10,000 for him. He's charging me 50,000 for him. But I have to. It's a mitzvah from the Torah. Yachol yiglom, Rashi. You think you have to get ripped off from the Torah? No. You have to pay exactly what he paid. If he's ripping you off, you are no longer required to redeem your brother. Yedaktek im konehu, to be exact. Tosafot argues, it's in red on the right side. What does it mean? Rashi says it means letting the goy rip you off. He says no. Maybe you can trick this guy and be a little clever and rip him off and pay much less than he paid for the guy. Negotiate with the guy. Say, no, when you bought him, his eyes were good. Now he can't see. How many fingers am I holding up? He says 6 fingers. Nah, he can't see, and now he's worth nothing anymore. Rip the guy off. Pay nothing for him to get him back. Says what? No, you have to pay exactly the amount of money. You can't rip him off. So Rashi holds he can't rip you off, and Tosafot holds you can't rip him off. Even though in general, this is a very important Tosafot, in general, tricking a goy is okay. If he's going to know that you're tricking him, you cannot do it. So the Tosafot says, already the mistake of a Kana'ani is allowed. We are on page 3, and I'm going to skip a little bit so we can get to the other sources. We're going to go down to line 10, 11, 12, 13. No, 12. Line 12. I put some numbers there. Amar Bibi Bar Gidel, Amar Rabbi Shimon Hasida. Gezel Kena'ani, Asud. Stealing from a goy is Asud. Avedato muteret. If he loses something and you find it, keep it. You don't have to return. Gezelo Asud is not allowed. Minna de Amarav. Una minayna Gezel Kena'ani Shema Asud Shneimar ve'achatat kol ha'amim. There's a whole pasuk. I'm going to skip again because we did this 2 weeks ago and I want to move on. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, line 25. Tanya. Rabbi Pinchas bin Yair omer, b'makom sheyesh chilul Hashem, afilu abedato asur. If he's going to know that you found it and didn't return it, you cannot keep it. You cannot make a chilul Hashem. Amar Shmuel ta'uto muteret. His mistake is allowed. That's what Tosafot got this from. And that gives 3 stories that we said 2 weeks ago that I won't repeat now. About one rabbi went to the market and he saw something that looked copper, but he felt it and it was copper plated, but it was gold inside. So he told the guy, the storekeeper, the goy, what is this? He said, that's a copper mug. Oh, how much is it? $5. I'll take it. It's really a gold mug plated in copper. He ripped him off. He had no idea. But he said, what did he say to him? The magic words, I'm trusting you. That's what the story. I'm trusting you. You say it's copper, I go by you. That's it. I'm letting you know, I'm going by you. These are magical words. You have to tell, if you trick a goy, we'll see halakha l'ma'aseh soon. You have to say these words. You should know, I'm not counting the money. I'm not counting the change. Whatever I'm trusting you. You should know, I'm not expecting the goods. Whatever you say the good is the goods is. That's it. Then it can be lenient. Yeah. So if he finds out his mistake, he say, hey, Yehudim, yeah, and we're gonna do this now. Okay. We're gonna see right now. Now, all this we did 2 weeks ago, everything now is new. Actually, I actually mentioned some of this new stuff in a Yahaveda Shiur maybe 2 years ago. So you might remember it. Okay, next source is on the bottom of page 3. Ezra, new stuff now, okay? Page 3. Mesechet Sanhedrin, page 76. Now I'm going to read a little slower because we're new stuff. Amar Yehuda Amar Rav. Hamasi et pito lezaken. If you marry your daughter to an old person who cannot have children, which means you're wasting your daughter. Hamasi isha levno katan. Or the opposite. You marry a woman to a very small boy who can't have children. And if you return a lost object of a goy, עליו הכתוב אומר, למען ספרות הרבה תשמעה לא יובא אדוני, סלוח לו, right? כי אז ישן אף אדוני וחמתו באישה הוא, right? ורב סבא כל העלות הכתובה בספר הזאת. Hashem will curse him, God forbid. לא יובא Hashem סלוח לו. Hashem will not be happy to be willing to forgive, because you did 3 things that are very wasteful. A, marrying a girl marrying a guy who cannot have children, to a wonderful girl who could have children that she's wasting. B, the opposite. C, returning the lost object of a goy is a waste, says the Gemara. The waste. Hashem was not happy with this. Why, Ezra? Let's see Rashi. Page 4. Someone who returns something to a goy, you're making it in your eyes like a goy and a Yisrael is the same. Because just like I return an object from a Jew, so to a goy, you're showing you don't return objects because Hashem said to return objects. You return objects because good Samaritans return objects. Hashem told you, Hashavat Avedah is only for your friend. Who told you to return it to a kuti? Kuti is a goy. Rashi says, Lo yoveh Hashem seloach lo. And the pasuk says, L'ma'an sefot harava et haseme'ah. The L'ma'an sefot harava et haseme'ah, you're giving the non-thirsty person the thirsty thing. L'ma'an sefot harava et haseme'ah. Rashi says, Rava, non-thirsty, is ovdei kochavim. They're not thirsty. Shesovim, sevi'im, ve'enam seme'in liyotzeram. They're not spiritually thirsty. They're fine the way they are. They're not looking for way more. Same'ah, who's thirsty? Zu Knesset Israel. Am Yisrael is always supposed to be thirsty. Right? Sama lachan nafshi. Yeah? Shesame'ah ve'te'ava liyirat yotzra ul'kayem mitzvotav. We're always thirsting for more ways to get closer to Hashem. And so what does the pasuk say? When you return something to a non-Jew, you're giving something that was with a thirsty person, the Jew that found it. He's giving it, the water, to a person who's not thirsty. What's the point? Keep it for yourself. Now, let's get into it.
You speak about spiritual things, about physical things. Fundamental. I go for the first one. Because it says
The question is this. What is the purpose of this can of soda? What is the purpose of it? If I return this to a goy, what's he going to do with it? And if I keep it as a Yehudi, what am I going to do with it? What's the purpose? I'm going to make a beracha. I'm going to try to make holy something that's mundane. This watch that he lost. If I use the watch, I'm going to use it for holy things. I'm going to be mekadesh. We're always using this world for elevated purposes. The pizza, I'm going to make a beracha v'kat hamazon. This guy's going to just eat it with nothing. He's going to put some pepperoni on top of it and he's going to scarf it down and move on with his life. Let the guy who's thirsty drink the water. If you give it to a guy who's going to blow it, you're wasting it. It's like feeding it to the killers. What are you doing with it? It's for human consumption. You're wasting it. That's the inyan here. What's he gonna do with it? You give it to a Yehudi, he's gonna use it. $1,000 he dropped. Yeah. You know what he's gonna do with $1,000? He's gonna pay tuition. He's gonna go give it to the shul. He's gonna do something with it. Buy tefillin. No, give it to the goy so he can gamble it in Vegas. Now, some Jews act like goyim. But it seems from here we have to treat everyone the benefit of the doubt. Is a Yehudi, and we'll get more into it in a second. So that's the way the logic is going here. That's why the Gemara says the word thirsty and not thirsty. That's the mashal. Let's see. We'll get more into it. It says the bench high. On the bottom, in the middle of page 4. Ben Yehoyada is the bench high. If you return aveda, a lost object to a goy. In Yerushalmi, Baba Metziah, Amru, Shimon ben Shetach hazir aveda la'akum. We have a story right in the Yerushalmi where Shimon ben Shetach did return something to a goy. So we see it's allowed. וכן איתה במדרש רבה פרשת עקב. ועוד הביאו בירושלמי דרבותינו הזקנים קנו כרי חיטים מאנשי הסבא ומצאו בו סירו של דינרים והחזירו להם. We have a story that the Jewish rabbis, they bought items for the military, they found some hidden treasures and they returned it to the non-Jews. So what are you talking about? It's asur. Lo yaveh Hashem seloach lo. ועוד מה תיהתם עובדא דרבי שמואל שהחזיר עבדה למלכה. We have more stories. ועל זה קשה מאחד כאן כאמר עליו נאמר לא יביא השם סלוח לו. It says Hashem will not forgive you. איך הותר להם להחזיר לעקום משום קידוש השם. They brought it back. הושב אמתחתנו. Even they were going הושב אמתחתנו. Yeah. We have stories all over the place, right? Don't we all know the story of the guy with Oprah? The guy who was the table that the desk, he went on Oprah. Yeah, it was a big story. He's saying, Lo yaveh Hashem seloach lo. Hashem is unhappy. All over the news. So this is the Ben Shai's question. Why are you making such a blanket statement? Says the Ben Shai, in Eli, בסייעתא דשמיא. וכאן איירי בהיכא דמתעסק בהשבת אבדה עסק הרבה שעושה בשבילה שינוש בגופו. We're talking about, does it take a lot of time and effort for you to return this item? How much time of your day is it going to take you to return this item to the goy? וגם מאבד זמן בעבודה, כגון שראה שור נידח בדרך, וצריך לו טורח וטיפול גדול עד שיחזירנו לו. או ראה ממונו של עקום נפסד, וצריך לו טיפול הרבה בעיבוד זמן להצלתו. If you're going to have to waste a lot of your time to return the object to the goy, ועל זה כאמר, לא יביא השם סלח לו, you're wasting your time. It's a whole new spin on it, says the Ben High. You're not wasting the object. Let him have the pizza. Let him have the soda. But you're spending 5 hours calling, and who is this? Oh, I'll meet you here, I'll meet you there. What could you be doing in that time? You're wasting your time. You're wasting your energy and your resources for what? For him to get his pizza back. And it says, you cannot favor them. You can't give them gifts. Your time is your life. Your time is your life. You're giving your life to the goy. Why? Just so he gets back his watch that he dropped. That's the Ben Shai's explanation. Like the story of Shimon ben Shetach. If you found a diamond, or a wallet, or a little jewelry, no big deal. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you return to the guy. Okay, do it. It's allowed. Even though he's a goy, says the bench high, it depends. If it's an easy kiddush Hashem, it's 1 phone call, 2 phone calls, whatever, do it. But it's not going to waste your time. You're supposed to be learning, supposed to be doing mitzvot. You're spending your whole time chasing around lost objects. Lo yaveh Hashem seloach lo. That's what he's mad about. Says the Rambam, Matzah keli etz mishtamesh bahen kedei shelo yirakebu. If you find something that can rot, you have to use it. If you leave it stagnant, it's going to ruin, like clothing. You leave it in the closet, it might get mothballs. The Gemara says the blankets, towels. You have to take it out every once in a while until you find the owner. They have copper dishes. You have to use them with hot just to keep them alive. If you skip to the bottom If you find something that's gold or something that's glass or crystal, or garments of linen, by hand, they won't ruin, so don't touch them until Eliyahu Navi comes. Why Eliyahu Navi? Because we know it says adiro shahicha. If you can't find it, you have to hold it until your friend seeks it out. And what do we say on this very well known shot? Adiro shahicha, as until Eliyahu Navi comes and says, "Oh, this watch you're holding, yeah, that belongs to this guy." So you have to hold it. So the question is, why do we invoke Eliyahu Navi here? Mashiach. Just say, hold it until you find out whose it is. That's also very nice. Very nice.
Statistically unlikely.
Ezra is always the realist. And so there's a beautiful answer. Look at the next gemara, Bava Metzia, on page 5 in the middle. Tanu Rabbanan, Barishona, Kol Mi Shematza Bedah Hayam Mechliz Alav Shel Shlai Nekalim. And it used to be that when you found something, you used to wait till you go to Jerusalem for the 3 holidays. There was a big rock, and you stand on top of it and say, I can so imagine a bunch of religious people standing up and say, I found a straw, I found this, I found all sorts of things. You ever go to a kollel, you see the bulletin board? The bulletin board and a kollel, look at the bulletin board. Found, lost, found, everything. Empty soda can. You have to wait. So you have to go 3 festivals. That was how long you had to wait. So on your 3rd regel, you still didn't find the owner. You wait 7 more days. What do we do now that there's no temple? That should be speedily built in our days. Hitkin, they said, go to the kollel, go to the shul, and hang up on the bulletin board. That's where they got it from. Now, there's a wonderful answer that Rabbi Engel brings. He's not there's another great Engel. He says as follows. He says, Rabbi Yisachar Fran pointed out also. He says, if you look in the Gemara and Shas, many times when it talks about the destruction of the temple, it says Meshechara Beit HaMikdash, when the temple was destroyed. But it never adds the words, it should be speedily rebuilt next to that. Usually, like in Rosh Hashanah, there's 2, in Sukkah, there's 1, in Sotah, there's 2, I think. Different. When the temple was destroyed, they made a decree, you shake lulav. It doesn't say, when the temple was destroyed, that should be rebuilt. Only in our Gemara B'Mitzvah about returning something, it adds a little prayer. When the temple was destroyed, that should be rebuilt. Why over here is the only place it gives a little prayer?
So you can have the rock back to find people.
And he says as follows. If you look at the next Gemara Makot, which I put for you, Amar Rav, Mr. Pina means I'm afraid. It's in one of the kilalot, right? This week is the Bechukatai. It's in one of the kilalot. You will be lost amongst the nations, Hashem says. If you don't listen, you will be lost amongst the nations. So I'm afraid of this pasuk. I don't want to be lost. I don't want to be lost amongst the nations. It bothers me, says Rav. Papa says, don't worry. Papa is always making shalom in the whole Shas. No, you'll be lost, but you'll be found. You're not going to be lost forever. Hashem says, I'm not going to destroy you. I will lose you, and then I will find you. Don't worry. I'm lost like a lost sheep. I'm wandering, but find me. So, says Rabbi Engel as follows. Mashiach, Geulah, is compared to Hashavat Abedah. We are lost in the Galut, and Hashem is going to find us, like we see over here. The Zohar says that, and a lot of the Chassidim also write this, that the returning lost objects to fellow people, fellow Jews, is a big sigula to help speed up Mashiach. When we can return something that belongs to other people and not keep it, Hashem says, okay, it's time for you to return to me. Midah keneged midah. In addition, we know Yaakov in the Zohar says which letter of Hashem's name, the last Hey and Hashem's name, Yod, Ke, and Vav, the K is missing, right? Ki Yad al Kesya, Hashem is missing the last Hey. We have to return that by Mashiach. It's also Hashavat Abedah. Again? And so Hashavat Abedah is mamash misugal Mashiach. It's like a Geulah sort of a thing. And so therefore, that's why in Bava Metzia, when it says the laws of Hashavat Abedah, it says Shivane, by the way, Shivane Ben Ami Aminu, it's going to be rebuilt because of this mitzvah. It's the only time. It's going to be rebuilt because of this mitzvah. And therefore, we say dafka when it comes to this mitzvah, hold on to it until Eliyahu Hanavi comes. Because Eliyahu Hanavi is going to come because of this mitzvah. Because you're holding on to it, you're going to bring Eliyahu Hanavi. Because this mitzvah brings Eliyahu Hanavi. Not Stam, he's Eliyahu Hanavi. No, you're bringing him. You're making him come faster. And so now, Hashavat Avidat Yisraeli has a very, very big power to bring Mashiach and Geulah. And so, when we return something to a non-Jew, we're mamash wasting either for the Beish Chai our own efforts, or you're wasting on his efforts. I can do a mitzvah, Hashavat Avidat Yisraeli is going to do the right thing. By the way, the Gemara says, return it to a Jew. Why did the Jew lose it? Why did the Jew lose it? If Hashem wants the Jew to have it, why did he lose it? I always wonder this. You should make sure you return it. If Hashem wanted him to have it, he wouldn't have lost it. No, Hashem made him lose it. Hashem, what is Hashem? Why? When you return it to a guy, when I return my watch, the watch that he dropped, I'm supposed to think to myself, I'm returning it to him because he's a Jew. If he wasn't Jewish, I wouldn't do it. I'm only returning it to him because he's a Jew, which means I know he's going to do something good with this thing. Any Jew who drops it, I know he's going to use this for a good purpose. That's what's supposed to go through our heads. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah. And also, we're talking about there's a siman, you know whose it is. If someone drops something and there's no siman, you don't have to do this. Okay, now. You have it's a siman though. Has to be a siman. Has to be a certain marker, not a name, but something. Yeah. But if it's a stama item, or I no. Alachat talks about it. If it's an ear that's majority, an area that's majority. Okay. Now we move on to page 6. The Meiri over here. The Meiri says. Yeah. If it's a goyish area, he gives up hope right away. Yeah. So says the Meiri. If you look over here on the 3rd line on page 6, the hazarato derech hasidut, returning it to a goy, is a hasidut. It's being pious. Ve'en anu kifufim lahasidut. You can't force someone to be a hasid. L'mishi en lo dat, to return something to someone that has no religion. V'chen ta'uto, also if a goy makes a mistake, in ta'ame elav, if he makes the mistake on his own, doesn't mean you can't trick him. You can't trick him. In ta'ame elav, says the Meiri. He makes the mistake. Don't lead him into it. Say, this feels like copper, whatever you want to say. No, this might be, kubisakonia. Don't say anything. If he makes a mistake, you jump on it, but you can't lead him. Not because of all your plans or tricks, or you're leading him to it, and you don't have to return it. If he's going to figure it out that you took it from him, you have to return it. So too with a lost object. As if there's going to be a Hilul Hashem, he's going to realize that a Jew got it. You have to return it. For sure on the religious people. Even though this is the case for atheists and for pagans, for sure the case with religious goyim, even though they don't have our religion, they have some sort of set of morals. They don't apply to this. Says the Meiri, a Christian, someone with a set of morals would have a Jewish law in this case. He says these laws only apply to someone who has no religion, a goy that's just nothing, like a BMA. Okay. If he's Oved Avodah Zarah, it seems from this Meiri, that's not halakha l'ma'aseh, but from the Meiri, it seems he can't do it. You can't keep it. He's talking about a real ruffian, a guy with no set of values, like a pirate or something like
Has to be.
an atheist or a pagan, or I don't know. According to the Meiri, we'll get to the Rambam now. Now look at this Hida, guys. This is a powerful Hida. 5 minutes and we'll be done. The Hida on the bottom of page 6. Check this out. פירוש דהרי כתיב אשר השם אלוקיך נותן לך כשנתנם לך דאכלת כל העמים, when you will eat up all the nations, אבל בלאו הכי אסור. וכתב בספר חסידים, the Sefer Hasidim writes with סימן 661, שיהודי אחד התעל לגוי, one Jew tricked a goy, והוא לא ידע, and the guy was clueless, the goy was clueless, but he tricked him on purpose. ואחד שמת, after Shemet HaGoy, after the Goy died, Malacho Amarle, his angel told him, Sheyehudi het'ehu, you were tricked by a Goy. When the Goy got to heaven or wherever, he said, you were tricked by a Jew. V'tza'ak hazeh, and he cried on this. V'ne'enash HaYehudi, and the Jew was punished. Ayin Sham, check out Sefer Hasidim. Umish yesh lo lev, if you have a heart, yikach musar, you should take a lesson. V'yizahed megezel. HaGoy, be very careful from stealing from a Goy. V'hayoter tov liyizahed me'od. You should be very, very careful. Lo mitzat onesh, not for punishment. Kim l'kayim ha'mitzvah shelo ligzol. You should not steal from anyone. Afilu leGoy, even from a Goy. La'asot nachadut ha'yosenu, says the Hida. Very, very important stuff. Yeah, exactly. That's another reason. It's going to make you into that type of a person. Don't, that's my business. Yeah, but you're going to start acting that way with everybody. Don't act that way. Don't do it. Okay. I want to just do a little Rambam, and then we'll save the rest for next week. Let's start with a little tiny bit of Rambam, and we'll stop it. If you steal from your friend, it's a lo ta'aseh, lo tigzol, one of the 10 commandments. En lokin alav zeh, but you don't get lashes for it. Why? It's a lav hanitak la'aseh, because you could just return it. Any lav hanitak la'aseh, any lav that has a positive fix, you don't get lashed for. V'asur, second chapter, second paragraph. V'asur ligzol kol shehu din Torah. These are words that the Rishonim, the Aharonim really have a hard time with. Rambam holds, from the Torah you're not allowed to steal, afilu akum, even from a Goy, asur legazlo or le'ashiko, v'im gazlo ashako yahazir. You're not allowed to steal from the Goy, even mideoraita. We'll stop here, but you have to know this is a very big, where in the Torah does it say this? Hilul Hashem, is it deoraita? This is a very big question they bring. We'll have to talk about it next week and get more to halakha ma'aseh. Deoraita? Yeah.
Actually, there is a lot, there is a sense.
Yeah. But a lot of the yeah. Radana spoke about it last week. But this is a very severe. I'll show you next week if they'll talk about it. Yes, we'll have to talk about it. We'll talk about it next week. Halakha l'ma'aseh, you have to wait until it's coming. Rabbi Hanan Gashamer, ועשה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל, לפיכך חדבה להם תורה מצוות שנאמר, אתה חפש למעשה כה, יגדיל תורה בידין. Let's do Kaddish, and then I just want to shkava for someone who just passed away, if you don't mind. Someone wants to say Kaddish, it's a good zichut. Even if you're not in the Shana, it's a very big zichut.